everyone on here tonight. Hope you are having a great week. Had a great weekend. It's a beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. It is an interesting, chaotic time in the markets right now in real estate and mortgage industry for realtors and all the stuff with the NAR and MLSs and the announcement that there's 722 banks that are facing bankruptcy or insolvency can be pretty scary, but also works in our favor for what we're going to talk about tonight. But anyway, we're glad to have you. If you're joining us for the first time on Note Night in America, we are honored. We do these basically every Monday night. You can catch the replays by going, if you like the video, you can go to our YouTube channel at weclosenotes.tv to watch all of the replays from, I don't know, from it going back there. I think there's a couple hundred videos on there. That's weclosenotes.tv. And then, of course, you can listen to the podcast because we turn our Note Night in America into a podcast as well. So anywhere that you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, whatever it might be, you can listen to all the episodes there. But we're honored to have you here, guys, rocking along. I want to let you know we do have a couple new episodes for the Note Closer Show podcast. We did a $10,000 case study on a deal, basically investing with small funds and small notes is a great way to get started if you've got limited funds and are intimidated with raising capital. Check out that episode 793 of the Note Closer Show. Came out last week. And then coming out tomorrow is the newest episode 793, which is Dumb Note Money. I don't know if you've had a chance to see the movie Dumb Money. It's worth going seeing. And I basically voiced my opinions on Wall Street and how the money, how that movie really reminded me of what our opportunities lie here right now with what's going on in the industry. We're actually streaming that video right now, I think also on the YouTube channel. So when you finish up with this, you can jump over there and watch that video and kind of chuckle a little bit, I think. But I'd love to know your comments. Love to know what you think about that. If you've seen the movie, great. I think it's a pretty hilarious movie based on true stories. But leave your comments, let me know, because I think we do have an opportunity to tell Wall Street to go F itself and take advantage of what's going on right now, especially note investors as a whole here. Not so much real estate investors or traditional real estate. A lot of folks are struggling right now. We in the debt space have the opportunity that really is, we're seeing stuff right now that makes sense, and we're going to see a whole lot more for it. So anyway, but let's get into tonight. You're here to talk about or how to learn how to get started as a note investor in Q4 2023. That means right now. I mean, we're literally in Q4. We're 9 days into the fourth quarter here. You've got November, December, 20 more days in October. If you think about it, you really only have 2 months left when you look at the holidays. When you look at Thanksgiving, the last week of the year, 2 months left to get started. And I'm a big believer, this is not a get rich quick, obviously. It takes time. But if you start now, you will be more prepared for Q1. These things that you do can lead to success now if you will take action. But that is up to you to be the one taking action. So anyway, what would I do? And this kind of came in. Steph was asking me last night. We're sitting outside on a beautiful evening, smoking a brisket and a chicken in the grill. And I always tell her, ask me, what's my topic going to be about? And she kind of, she's asking me, what are you going to talk about? I said, you know what? I would probably talk about, I've had a lot of people ask me questions about getting started. I said, well, I'll probably share what would I do if I had to start all over again. If I had to start right now, what I would do. And that's what really this episode is all about for you, okay? This edition of Nightmare. So one of the things that the 5 points that we'll discuss is focus on, first thing is you want to focus on what's working now in this market. Where can you have the most impact? Not something that's worked in the past or what's really working in today's market right now, okay? We're going to talk about leveraging social media to help you along. And some of you, especially some of you on here, aren't doing any of that. Third thing is start connecting with note buyers. We'll talk about the importance of that. We'll talk about start connecting with note sellers and immediately start contacting investors. Those 5 bullet points we'll talk about tonight, okay? But those are the 5 things that would immediately start doing that. Now, this isn't a 40-hour work week kind of thing. This is a couple hours a day. I'm not talking 8 hours. I'm talking an hour or 2 at night, a little bit each day to get the ball rolling. You can literally pick up and say 1, 2, 3, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or something like that. What's the most difficult thing is going to be the first thing. Let's focusing on what's working now in this market. Let's talk about that. Now, what's working in this market? here's the things that are working. It is not going out and doing apartment syndication because you're not going to get cheap financing. It's just not the case. Buying commercial real estate really isn't the case right now because it's hard to get financing, especially when you look at the fact that so many banks are struggling right now. And we'll do a whole different episode about that probably next Monday night anyway. But what's working in this market? Where could you be making money almost immediately? Well, not every market is worth investing in currently. There's states that you want to stay out of. I would stay out of California. I would honestly almost stay out of Florida for these reasons. Florida's got high freaking insurance going through the roof. California, San Francisco, I don't think I'd buy anything there just because it takes forever to foreclose. It's just not a friendly area. You want to focus in markets that are going to be worth it. At price point, still that, really $500,000 and below, that's the asset class to look at in most markets. Most of that could vary in the market. Like what $500,000 in Columbus, Ohio is going to be different than Columbus, Georgia. It'd be different what's in Dallas, Texas versus Dallas, Georgia. You know what I mean? It's different. So you want to really stay at that. I prefer $300,000 and less. Okay. Now I say different strokes for different folks because it's going to vary on what your long-term and short-term goals are. Okay. And only you can answer that. All right. Now, if you want long-term success or you have short-term goals, your short-term goals are probably going to be more wholesale flipping and stuff like that. And that's going to be a pain in the ass to do. And you're going to get frustrated. You have to understand this is a long-term game more so than anything else. And yes, you can make some short-term capital if you have a long-term game plan. There'll be things that happen. But literally, if you're looking for cash flow and you need to get some cash flow coming in right now, buying reperforming notes is something that I would focus on. That's if you got your own money, 50, 100 grand or more. If you've got your own money and you're wanting to make at least 8 to 10, 12% return, you can do that. If you're looking for that and are having trouble doing that, then reach out to me and let's schedule a call. Let's talk. We can help place your money. There will be some placement fees. We're not doing that for free, but we can help you and still leave you the lion's den of the profits. Why not have somebody that's going to be overlooking your shoulder versus you going out there and trying to figure it yourself? Okay. But right now you can buy performing and reperforming notes and get cash flow. Okay. If you want to get some cash flow and with some big checks missed in there, then buy non-performing notes, mixing in some non-performing notes. You're probably going to need to use some other people's money for that. Or if you use your own money, that's great. But if you don't have any of your own money, guess what? You're going to have to go find some of your money. This is why I like the reperforming side, because you can get an 18, you can probably see stuff at a 12 to 18% yield that if you can get somebody's money to pay them 6 to 8, you're doing well. Non-performing notes is probably not going to make cash flow immediately. You're going to need to do that borrower outreach and go from there, but it can lead to cash flow and big checks and a mixture of both. Also, a prime aspect of it, which most people don't think is note investing, I think it is subject to deals, taking over low interest rate loans for the last 3 years prior to this year. And either people that can't sell their houses or FSBOs, they don't have any equity, or they got to move, they're motivated. You could potentially take over some low interest rate mortgages and buy some and get some houses that we can hold for cash flow or big checks if you do a wraparound mortgage. I was literally it's funny. God plays interesting games sometimes. I was just thinking about my buddy Max Bailey. I called the underwriter and I was about to email him and I get a LinkedIn message from him and I just chuckled. I was like, oh, hey, what is going on, my friend? It's good to see you. He's like, yeah. I was like, I've been meaning to give you a phone call for some things. I'll talk more about that later on, what we have in mind for that. But those are some great deals that you can get cash flow, but also get some big checks with deposits if you're doing lease options or rent to own, or even doing some owner financing with non-refundable deposits or a big chunk of the down payment. Like if it's here in Texas and you can't do a lease option, but you can do an owner financing and get some cash flow. I just did. There's another video on a Houston. Houston case study as well too, with the creative financing you might want to check out on the Note Closer show too. We kind of break a deal down that we came across. But anyway, you can also look at, if you look at those aspects of things, there's a lot of things you can do. I wouldn't be looking at short-term rentals. I know a lot of people are looking at, because short-term rentals are really, they're kind of that precipice. A lot of places are being overwhelmed with them. It's not saying you can't make it. You just got to be very careful on where you're at and what kind of things you have to do now with licensing. Is there a limit or a the maximum that cities are allowing. Just got to be very careful with that. And every city and state's going to be a whole lot different. So you really need to research the specific markets. That's something you want to do. But that's going to require you capital. Could you do that with subject to deals? Yes, you could do that with subject to deals if it allows you for in those areas. Now, here's the thing. What markets can I find these in? Well, you're going to find these in markets. You're going to find subject to deals all across the country. Doesn't mean it just depends on what's available and how many people are moving there. And if there's a buyers looking for that kind of opportunity, and there is. Okay, a couple of weeks, we're going to have Chris Prefontaine talk about some of the ways that they're finding buyers with large checks and down payments and stuff like that with their subject to deals and also owner finance stuff. So we're excited about that. But like I said, if you can, markets that have really at $500,000 and less are going to be your prime. If you live near a military area with military coming and going, that can also be a really great place to find subject to deals, as military guys are getting moved out quite a bit. So stick to the markets you can find stuff. If you live in a market that doesn't have a lot of stuff, guess what? Find a market that does. You're not stuck with just looking in your one market. And I'm always cracking up at posts I see on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube where people, well, this isn't my market. It's 1.8 million. You can't do that. Well, then get off your ass and go find a market you can do it in, because there's plenty out there. Okay. And when you're looking in the market, you got to figure out too, what do I need to do to find these deals or marketing? Now, if you're looking for long-term, if you're looking for non-performing, performing notes, you need to start connecting with note buyers, note sellers, note platforms. We'll talk more about that later on. If you're looking for subject to deals, then you need to start looking at expireds, withdrawal listing, hiring an agent, or buying a list from a company. We've got sources for all of that stuff. Okay. Well, that's the first thing you gotta know. Know what your goals are and know what is going to align to help you achieve that. Does that make sense, everybody? Make sure that we're live streaming here. Somebody liked my video of dumb note money. That's good. Let's see here. Perfect. Yes, I am tracking the YouTube. So if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, make sure to leave a comment. Let me know you're there. Okay. But how do you find out? Well, talk to people that are doing deals in an area, their expertise in that, but asset classes to help you find that. And they should be able to tell you. There's plenty of deal flow to go around. It's just a matter of reaching out and talking with people. Okay. If somebody wants to charge you for every nickel and dime for helping you, you need to move on to something else, and we'll talk more about that. Okay. Now, second thing, you got to leverage social media. If you are starting off, this is your friend. If you have failed to do this because you're scared, you're older, or as we say, more seasoned, got more gray hair, or just don't know where to begin, guess what? Here's a very simple plan. Connect and follow with other note investors. Pretty easy. Go to LinkedIn, type in note investors, note buyers, note sellers. We'll talk more about that. And look at their profiles. Some people are sharing great stuff. Actually, it's funny is most of the people that are sharing great stuff on LinkedIn are students of ours, our coaching students. I know 4 or 5 of my coaching students have been solicited by 2 of the note platforms to help out with marketing. They're like, we love your stuff. I'm like, I chuckle because it's stuff that we teach and stuff that we do on a regular basis. That's the most important thing, is it's just got to start sharing what they're doing. And you ain't got to be a rocket scientist to make this happen. Just see what they're doing and start sharing it in your own terms, adding your logo, adding your flip to, okay? And then literally start doing what they are doing. Pick up the phone. Hey, can you tell me how you're doing this? Or what are you doing? And if they're doing videos, short videos, do it. If they're doing blogs, do it. If they're sharing articles, do it. Infographics, whatever it might be. This is not meant to be difficult. Marketing is not difficult if you will just get in the habit of doing it on a regular basis and start somewhere. Something is better than nothing. Most of you are doing nothing. That's why you're getting nothing. Okay. But going on LinkedIn, Facebook, even TikTok, all these platforms allow for you to search by note investor, real estate investing, and you will find plenty of people that can help you out with that. Okay. But then the most important thing is start sharing case studies, deals from some of the websites, investors that you're seeing. Most of these platforms will let you repost something. You may want to talk to them, do a short little video, or ask them about the deal, some specifics. I mean, you can literally go to some note trading platforms and pull some case studies off of there and start working through those deals, and like you're making an offer. That's what I did to begin with, and it led to me helping create quite a buyer's list. Okay. Now, start connecting with note buyers. We talked about note leveraging social media, but start connecting with note buyers. Same thing. Note investors are similar, but people that are buying actual assets. These could all, the reason why it's important to start with these is because these could be potential wholesale buyers that you could flip a note to or two. It's better to make something instead of nothing, right? But when you start connecting, start adding these people to your buyers list, creating a buyers list. When I started off, it was just an Excel spreadsheet, but with Keep and other things you can use, you got to start communicating with this. You get your buyers list, your database is one of the most important assets you'll have. If you're starting off brand new, that's okay. It's better to just focus on getting a few a day, get a few people, add to your database and start marketing. And when you're talking to these people, you want to find out what kind of markets are they investing in, what they're like favorite states, 3 favorite states, I always like to say. What type of assets are they looking for? Are they looking for single family, multifamily, notes, non-performing, performing, kind of that stuff. And then also kind of funding amount. What are they looking to invest? How much is the average looking to invest? Now, we talked about kind of these questions a couple of weeks ago on the 20 questions you should ask note investors. So go back and watch that replay to give them an idea. You're not going to ask all these questions on the first phone call or the first when you're reaching out to these people, but it's good to ask. What are you buying? All right. What are you looking for? What can I help? And it's going to be really easy. If you go to note investors, just start reaching them. Hey, are you a note buyer or a note seller? Okay. Can I add you to my database? Can I add you to my email list? So when I get a deal in, I can start emailing you some deals. And that's what you do. Start emailing them weekly with deals. This is exactly, I would get a listing from a hedge fund. I'd pick out one asset a week and I would do a little case study on it and I would send it out without the address. It'd be like San Diego or Houston. I would use those hot buttons that people are looking to buy in. And that helped get people excited. Okay. And you can find these deals on note trading platforms or lists that you get from banks. All right. There's a whole list of note trading platforms. Just Google note trading platform and you'll find plenty. Okay. Just talk about the deal. Say, why does this look attractive? What kind of pricing are they looking for? I'm making an offer at this amount and I think I can get it this way. Tell the story. You have to tell the story because most people are unimaginative. They see a picture of a property, they think you're buying the property. They don't know the deal behind the deal. Can we agree to that, ladies and gentlemen? Right? The next thing I do is start connecting with note sellers. We just talked about the note trading platform, but there's also plenty of note sellers out there because sellers are also, guess what? They're buyers. Okay. You can look at the foreclosure lists for private investors in an area. You can see all the funds that are foreclosing on different notes. Those are hot button things. Okay. Start creating a sellers list. Same thing. Email out, hey, what do you have on your books this month that I can take a look at? It's individual investors, note platforms, bank asset managers. I would send an email out to my note buyers and I'd send an email out to my note sellers. What do you have this month? What do you have this week? I'm literally driving south tomorrow. I'm getting up before sunrise to go look at 2 assets that I'm excited about. But these came direct from an asset manager that only sent these assets to me to give me first crack at. Okay. And emailing them weekly for deals. Like I said, what do you have in your books this week? What do you have that's new? Most of these sellers are not marketers. They have a few people, and the person that reaches out to them the most will get the list. And you got to follow up with these people. This is the biggest thing right here. Start emailing your note sellers on a weekly basis. You have anything new? What didn't close in your last trade? Those are great questions to ask and will lead you to get deals that nobody else is going to see or that fall through the cracks that you can often pick up a sweetheart deal, especially as we get to the fourth quarter. You get to the 1st of December and people haven't sold stuff off their portfolio, they will get motivated to move. It always happens. Okay. Follow up with a phone call, LinkedIn messages, email, follow up with your note buyers and see if they're selling. Literally, this is one of the most important things to do. And no, you don't need to be spending 50 hours a week doing this. This is a couple hours. Once you get a list, just email. What do you have on this week? And look to add, 5 to 10 note sellers a week. I'd say a day if you had time, but don't worry about it. Just keep reaching out. Okay. And then, of course, the big one, start connecting with investors. This is going to take a little bit of time. But let's, my slides are, I knew when I get it. Okay. So first thing you've heard me talk about, reaching out in county records for self-directed IRA investors. Pull that list. It's free to pull in most areas. If those that have weird names, or you actually see that the investors' names, skip trace them or jump on Facebook or LinkedIn to find them and reach out to them. Okay. Now you're going to need to create an executive summary, a pitch deck, and then update your social media so it looks like you know what the hell you're talking about. Okay. But the fact that you have a team servicing attorneys, sellers, a network, that adds to boost your credibility when most people have zero credibility. Most note investors, most funding partners want to know that their investment is secure, and we have that in the note space, unlike really a lot of others. Okay. So once you start building this list, start contacting, just start mailing them. Start posting social media, start calling them. Same thing. What are they looking to invest in? Markets, asset classes, funding amounts. Very similar, like we talked about buyers. Same thing with investors. If I got a deal, like I only invest in Georgia, or I'll invest in anything that looks good, or anything that I can get like an 8% return on. Okay. Like I said, start emailing them weekly with case studies and things that you're doing, very similar we talked about beforehand, to grow their interest. Because 80% of sales comes after the 5th contact. If you start marketing now to your database once a week, that's 5 weeks from now. What's 5 weeks from now? It's the 16th of November or the 17th of November, the week before Thanksgiving. You'll technically have less than 30 days at that point. Really, when you look at the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, people shutting down, that kind of stuff. But you've got to start this process. And this is just, guys and gals, this is what you don't accomplish before year end will boost you into 2024. Okay. Now, the final piece is you got to get educated. You got to understand what the hell you're doing. And here's the thing, not everybody is created equally. There's a lot of people that have gotten in the note space the last couple of years, but have never been through a downturn. They didn't go through 2008, 9, and 10, 11, and 12. Okay. It's important to learn from someone buying in today's market and someone who went through last market change so that you know how to adapt and tweak things. Okay. Where the opportunities lie. It's not the same opportunities that lie in the same spots that they did 2 years ago. You can find great people on YouTube and podcasts are great starting points, but it's not the same thing. And you're not going to have the same learning curve to help you get further and faster that you will by taking a class. Now, I'm not here to pitch you on our 3-day Note Buying for Dummies workshop. It's great. We still don't know exact the dates we were going to do it at in the next couple of weeks. We'll have it figured that out by Friday. But I do want to invite you to my 1-day class, okay? And a class, especially my 1-day class, will give you a Cliff Notes version of how to find, fund, and flip. It's about 6 hours, okay? You get the ability to ask questions of me. We'll go through stuff. We'll talk about mistakes to avoid. We're tweaking it because I'm changed up the slides on some stuff there. So it's new content for you. And we'll show you what to do in this market and know what to do and what not to do in this market and how to really get your note business off and running. It's a great starting class. It'll be recorded if you can't make it live. That's okay. And it's this Saturday. And the most important thing, it is free. I'm doing a free class. No, it's not one of these classes or it's a pitch fest. Buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit. I don't do that. Yes, you'll have the opportunity to sign up for my 3-day class, my monthly membership. That's totally fine. But Note Weekend, it's very easy. Go to noteweekend.com to get RSVP'd for it. It's not going to cost you anything, whether you're watching here live or watching on YouTube or catching the replay or listening to the podcast. This comes out. Noteweekend.com. If you go there, get registered for it, you can get the replay sent to you. It's a good starting point because we've helped make more successful note investors than anybody else has. Successful. We may have not had as many people go through our classes as a few of the other old horses, but I guarantee we have more successful note investors, people that actually pulled the trigger, closed on deals than anybody else. I will gladly stake my reputation on that. And I'm proud of that. So once again, if you go to noteweekend.com, let me just type it here in the chat roll. So if you guys want to join, you can. It'll take you to a website. It'll ask for your information and then take you to Zoom. You're going to have to do that. It's not asking, there's no credit card. Okay. Which is great. Make sure you're a real person. Somebody tried to sign up the other day with fake stuff. So if you go to noteweekend.com, it's not going to cost you a dime. It'll help you get rock on. I know some of you guys have been through that before. And I think, and Kerr, do you have a question? It looks like somebody's got a question on here. Like I said, we start at 10 o'clock Central. That's Austin time. That's 8 o'clock in California time. And we'll probably run to 3 or 4. Okay. And you can't make it for the entire time. Guess what? Go ahead and get signed up and you'll get the replay sent to you. Okay. But that's it, guys. This is not rocket science. It's all about connecting with buyers, connecting with sellers, leveraging social media, connecting with investors, getting educated, and figuring out what the heck you want to do. What do you want to do when you grow up? How does that work with what your goals are, and where are the opportunities in today's market that will allow you to achieve those goals? Okay. Don't have to have a ton of money. There's still plenty of capital out there. We'll show you how to do some, and we'll show you how to find, fund, and flip them on Saturday. So if you want to join us, I'd love to have you. And if you're listening to this in the future, go to noteweekend.com, get RSVP'd. It'll probably take you to a new class, stuff like that. Just take the opportunity to get yourself educated. It's one of the most important things you can do. Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns from the peanut gallery here live or online for everybody? If you are watching this replay, feel free to type it in the YouTube video or drop me an email at talkwithscottcarson.com, or that'll book a call with me, or you can go to scott@weclosenotes.com to send a direct email to me. But I'd love to have you. I'd love to answer any questions, help you get on the right track in Q4 so that 2024 is even better for you than this year. Okay, a lot of people struggling. You can do a lot of good turning a lot of lemons in a lemonade, everybody. All right. And that's all that I have tonight for you. Hope you have a great night. Hope this was helpful for all of you. If there's no other questions or comments, dive in. Let's make you a successful note investor. Let's help you understand where the opportunities lie, what you can do to take the most advantage of it, and go out there and answer people's questions and help solve a lot of issues for you. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on Note Night in America, and we'll see you guys at the top. Bye.